Okay. I think something is going on now. Okay. It looks like I was having some technical problems, so it looks like I've got something happening now. This is still sort of a new situation for me, so I'm getting used to working on this new platform. But I can see some of you are seeing me, so I do believe that I'm visible at this point. So thank you for joining me. I'm only half an hour later than I intended to be. But our other show, sometimes we run a little bit long. That's what we do. We get in on a conversation and we have a good time. So I still might be end up having some tech problems. I was having some problems throughout that feed as well. But you know, American internet, that's what we can anticipate. So I know we're all in it together. Everybody knows this. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time. I like to read the comments from the chat whenever I see you. So, if you want to shout something out to me, I'll see what if I feel like responding. So that's what we do on the other show as well. So let's see. Yep. Okay. Everything actually, I'm just so suspicious of it at this point, but everything looks like it's up and running. So, all right, here we go. Sounds good. Looks good. Everything's fine. This camera also, like, for some reason, it's the exact same camera, but it views me different, so it trips me out a little bit. Anyways, we're I guess we're just hanging out. Okay, cool, good to be up and running. So I hope everybody that's checking this out is doing well, having a good time watching your TikTok live videos. If you are familiar with me or you're not familiar with me, did this freeze? What's going on here? Ugh, I'm so tired of tech problems. I think it's running. So anyways, it's been one of those days. After I was going up and down the last time, and this time it's I don't know if it's going to be the exact same problems over and over again. Some days it's just things just don't work the way that I want them to. Anywho, this is my second or third. Okay, why are you flashing in front of my face? Okay, this is my second or no, yeah, this is my third time on TikTok Live. My first time was a little bit of a disaster because I thought I was just going to be like, oh, click live and be live. No, it involved downloading the studio and learning the studio in like 2 seconds, and I was off to the side of the screen because it was on share mode, so everything that time didn't go super great. And then last week everything kind of worked out pretty well, and now this time, we have our a whole new host of tech problems, so that's always fun. So if you do know me or you don't know me, either way, I am world renowned, of course, author, artist, filmmaker, Nicolette Olivier, and I just started a new painting. I'm super excited about it. I hadn't been painting for a long time, and I can only go so long not doing an art. I have to do a lot of different things all the time, and I'm currently working on a couple of books. So I just now, I kept telling myself, okay, you'll get to paint again when it's time to do the cover art for Sorry Charlie, the book I'm most furthest in production with, but I'm still very far away from that point. So I just kept telling myself, you'll be able to do it then, but it wasn't enough because I really kind of start to go insane if I can't do some sort of painting. And it had been a very, very long time. And my paintings, I do vintage style stuff, and I do like patterns and things because I'm a red bubble artist also. But my favorite style of painting is the one that takes me the absolute longest to produce, and I am it's like a magical realism style, and I do portraits. Sometimes I do things, but mostly portraits of people, and I want to do there's all these things that I want to do, and it takes me just forever because I go through this full system of modeling, getting my references made into the exact model that I want to paint, and then going off of that. So I put in a ton of work when I originally get the process started. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into before I can even get going. So I I source whatever model I want to use, and then I combine them, or I work them in different ways. And then at that point, when I finally have something, a reference or a guide that I really want to work with, and that I like the way that it looks and I like the way that it's working, in that point, then I will start, making an outline. And I posted a video yesterday. I usually don't post while have something in production. I really like to just like share the final thing when it's done. And but I did make a little bit of a video because you couldn't see too much, because I don't like to give things away when I'm working on my stories, or when I'm working on art. I like to just like, here's the final thing, yay. So I did post, but I did do that. I was working on my outline, so I did post a little bit, because I like it to be a big surprise. I like to talk about it and then be like, here it is, yay! So that's basically how that works. And the I have a hard time. I know I said that I would read into the chat. I'm seeing all of you guys come in here. So hello, hi. But I have this problem on my other show too. It's like it's cognitive dissonance, where I can see things happening, but I can't read and talk at the same time, like in dreams. So I'm trying to keep up with both, and I'm still also kind of getting the hang of this different format, because we use Restream ordinarily, and for the main show, and then I come here and do this, and this is my I'm still new at seeing everything, and there's stuff stacked on top of each other. It's like such an information overload. Anyways, let me get a breath here and calm down a little bit, and then I will continue talking about what I was up to. So yeah, I'm back to painting, and it's something that I just can't live without for very long. But and I really pushed myself to the limit this time, because it had probably been a couple of years since I really had done a full scale actual painting. And I do tend to like go to the fan art type of thing, because I just really like to do portraits. That's my most favorite thing to do. And I really enjoy like capturing people and learning like the anatomy and things like that. So I had just gotten I was so excited about it. I've been so excited about it this whole time, that I did post a video about it, and it was Mm, I don't know. I guess if you know what it is, you can like maybe guess what it is. But I figured, like, if I just made this little peek view of it, like where you could just kind of see the eyes and the part I was working on, and then put some text over it, that it wouldn't really ruin the surprise. So I did it. I put it on there. But I don't know how long it's going to take me to do it, because like I said, I take a really long time, and I'll get in there and I'll be like pointillism. Like I'm like making like the tiniest little like additions, and it takes me forever. And I'm like, every time I'm sitting there doing that, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is why it takes you 200 years to finish a painting, is you just sit there forever and do like pointillism shit that like nobody's asking you to do. But it always turns out in a way that I feel really good about. And I haven't even been doing it for that long. It was something that I never really like. I wanted to know how to do, but I didn't really know how to do, and I had tried to do it in the past, but I didn't have any kind of real methodology. So maybe 10 or so years ago, 10, 12 years ago, I started to try to figure it out. And I kind of was getting there. I was kind of figuring it out, but it was very fraught, very, very difficult. And it kind of wasn't even super fun, because I was just like struggling so hard. So at that point, I kind of gave it up, moved on, and then, because I've always got so many irons in the fire as it is. And then I finally got, around the COVID time, so I'm like, okay, this is a really good time to sit down and figure this out. And that's when I ultimately developed like how to do it, and what to do, and how to make it work. And then now I kind of have a whole thing about it. So I've done a good amount of portraits now. And I've done everything. I've done a pink Cadillac. I've done animals. But mostly people is what I like to do. In some cases, depending on like the legality or whatever, is like I can put it in my Redbubble shop, so you can purchase that on stuff, those things on stuff. But sometimes like I can't. It's all just kind of dependent. It's all vibes. Like it's whatever they say I can do. So you can get some of my stuff from there. It just kind of depends on, because some people are like allow it, some people don't, so it's whatever. I have this isn't it. This isn't my work back here. But I do have a Swayze that's available, and I do have some others are available, but like one that isn't. That it was so sad, because it's like one of my favorites. It's called Walter and Dude, and it's a portrait of Walter and Dude. But you can see that on my socials. I'm on mostly where you see that stuff would be on my Tumblr. I've got, a couple of Tumblr blogs. I'm old school Tumblrina, so that's my home. That's where I live. I'm on all of the other socials, but I really hate Instagram. Like I really can't keep up with that kind of shit. So I just go and do and like my me stuff and like who I am and what I am and make the things. And that also motivated the decision to get back into the painting because I just figured like I have got to make time for it because my issue is that I don't like to start and stop on things. I like to, if I'm working on a book, I want to give all of my time to the book and get that done and get a product, have it finished, go through all the stages, go through all the steps, have it. If I'm working on a painting, same thing. I just want to get out there and join and like make it happen. Like, I want to make things like work and, um, like have a thing, and I'm not really the type of person who will just like migrate away and never come back. Like that's not really the concern. It's mostly just that like I want to work to something to completion, but since I'm not really able to do that because it cuts other things out, and I recently just got back into the TikTok thing, kind of reigniting the filmmaker part of me because I'm not making any films at this time. I kind of just had to figure out like, okay, I'm going to have to make time for every single thing then, because that's the only way that any of this is going to work out. That's the only way I'm going to actually get anywhere. That's going to only going to thing that's going to like calm my mind is if I don't wait to do. If I don't wait to do art, but I'm doing it alongside, then I can, I can kind of function a little bit better because it makes my heart sad if I can't do it. So I've got a new painting going. I've got a book going. Doing TikTok videos, and that's about where that's about the maximum amount of things that I can do with my time at this point. And when I was originally doing TikTok a couple of years ago, I started and I stopped. I really was like I was sort of liking it, but it was like I felt like it was too demanding. And at that time, it was a little more rudimentary than it is now, but it's a lot more comprehensive. Now, there's a lot more options. Like I would get frustrated that you couldn't put fades in, or transition things very well, and you couldn't adjust the music that you were using, and um, that really bothered me. So I kind of got out of it. I wasn't super into it. But then like now you can do those sorts of things. So I feel like I can make more high quality content. And I've just been kind of doing everything. I've been sharing my art. I've been talking about my books, but I've also been like cleaning things and like sharing tips about how to survive the horrors and what I'm watching on TV. Like if I finish a season of something, I love television. Just storytelling's like my whole thing. So like I love long format storytelling. I'm always like a super movie person. So I will I've started trying to integrate that stuff as well. So you can see that's the kind of content you can watch if you follow me. That's the kind of stuff I talk about, and I don't get like super technical about it. Like I will just I'm not above filming something off of my TV. Like I'm about it. It's fine. Like because I feel like also there has to be sort of like in the moment quality of it. Like I really do like to produce like well produced things, but I also like to just be like, oh, just shoot something. Here's just a thing. And thank you. I got a comment about my toothpaste video. I did a video. One of my videos recently was just me hanging out in my kitchen because I needed to. I use coconut oil instead of toothpaste because it's healthier and better for you. And I have like this whole oral care routine. So I just kind of talked about that and showed how that works, and you can check out that video. And that's basically the kind of, and I've always kind of got my mind on what to do, like expanding content. I do tarot, and I'll probably start putting in like divination tips and things like that. And if there's stuff going on in the astrology climate that seems like I should be talking about it, I'll talk about it. But I consider myself as a perpetual student of both of those things. So I don't really see myself as a tarot master or an astrology master. It's very much a learning situation for me. So I'll share what I know as I go. But and I like to do trivia and stuff like that. So that's probably going to make its way into the page as well, and different things. And again, you can see my art, and I'm working right now. I've got a very small following because I never was very dedicated to the whole thing, and then now I really am trying to like work with it. But I also would like to something about me is that I was in, and this is something we talked about and just talked about in my previous show, Social Contract, which we broadcast that on Twitch and on YouTube. It's a totally other thing, and I co-host that with my buddy. But and that's like political and topical kind of situation. But I was in the first wave of AI job losses. My industries overnight completely dissolved, and that's what brought me into the the live sphere in the first place. And that's why social contract came about. Is because I wanted an outlet to like try to warn people and talk about how like, hey, the job loss is real. It's going to come for yours too. There's going to be problems here. There's nothing nothing stopping this from happening. So that's kind of where it all grew out of. And at this point, you can't really even apply for a job anymore. It's just data mining. It's just stealing your information and selling it. Their jobs that are listed are not real. They're all fake. Everything is fucking lie. So I am out here like trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? And then I figured, like there's a possibility that considering like TikTok's like the only real economy at this point, like this is the only thing that you could get in on. I figured like obviously I've got like a skill here, like a filmmaker, a professional filmmaker. I'm not making any large scale films at this moment, so I should really try to concentrate my effort here. And I'm picking up followers a little bit, but my point is that it's very small following so far. But I would love it if people wanted to follow me or share my content, because that helps me grow my following. Because if I get past a certain follow threshold, I'm trying to get past 1,000 followers, because that then I can qualify to do TikTok One, which is like brand partnerships and things like that, which would ultimately help me out because I'm an independent artist and an independent author. So that puts all of the onus on me to do everything, which I'm fine with because I'm a complete control freak when it comes to making and producing things. And I talked about some of this last week, and I'm sure I'll talk about it like a million more times. But I want to be in on production. I want to control things. I want to do things myself. I want to make things happen. I want it to be the kind of thing where I get to make my own cover art, which I can hide clues in or make it look any way I want to. When I make my films, I make my own artwork, that kind of thing. So I want to be there, even though we were also just talking about this in the last episode, because I'm an independent author and artist, filmmaker, and then my co-host, you may have heard of, is Pepper Coyote. He is a musician, and he's incredibly talented, but he's also independent. So he does his own bookings. He runs his own show. He plays all over the world. He's super talented. I keep telling him like, I want to see you on Bonnaroo so bad. I want to see you in the Bonnaroo lineup because you would like you would like just fit that vibe so well. And he's like super well known to the people he's super well known to, but like he needs a big following. So if you want some new music in your life, go check out Pepper Coyote. He's great. You can download his music anywhere, and it would help him out as well. So if you want to, if I'm saying anything of interest to you, I'm going to be doing this week to week. So I will keep coming back, and then I'll think of other topics to talk about. Maybe like, today I had tech problems, so I wasn't really like, able to jump into things like, oh, let's talk American transcendentalism. Like, let's do that, right? Like, no, I couldn't do that. Like, so, but I can talk about different topics. I could talk about shows and stuff like that. And I will eventually. I'm still kind of in the introduction phase to all of this, both to myself and like to the TikTok community, because, I'm fairly new to it. So there's a lot of kind of just kind of feeling things out at this point. So I think of this as sort of like an additional introductive situation. So hi, hello, I'm introducing myself. But yeah, I am also, I'm an indie, he's an indie. We make our own stuff, and even if it's not just like our like personal things, like I definitely recommend getting into like the indie community of like artists, writers, if you get in, if you're in fanfic, you already know what that's about, right? Like they're turning out like really great stuff, and those people have like no hope of getting paid. Like that's just for the love of the game, straight up. Like I at least am doing other things that like allow me to, hopefully bring in income. But it's a grassroots effort, and the grassroots is me alone by myself. So I have got to get in there and do it all myself, and I like to do it, but it is difficult to to try to convince people to spend money, that, oh, I swear you'll enjoy it, wink, like, no, like for real you will. But it's hard to make people like want to like open the pocketbook and give you money, and it feels a lot like it's sort of like artistic panhandling in that way. It's a little bit busky. If if you want stuff that's out of the mainstream, regardless of what it is, whether it's art, whether it's writing, whether it's films, whether it's music, then you guys have got to turn to the indie communities, because that is like the best way to find stuff where people are not being used as tools by corporations to make money for themselves, like where they're just like, oh, let's like our algorithm determined if you dress like this and you sound like this and you make a song like this and you say these words, then you are going to make a lot of money for us because people will like it. It's super stupid, and it's like, but if you want to see people making like real organic material, like real art, like that's like where to look, is in the indie communities, right? Like whatever you're into, there are indies doing it, and they definitely need your support. So that's the thing to get behind, is like, if you want good content. And then again, if you're like, well, I've never heard of this artist or this writer, this artist, or this whatever, I don't know if I want to spend the money. Well, okay, if you're gonna go buy a book from like a mainstream, like, and you don't know anything about it, you're just buying it, like you're running about the exact same risk as whether or not you're going to like it as if you just went with somebody you've never heard of. So that only helps things, and it's people helping people, and that's super important at a time when AI is taking all the gerbs and taking away all the creativity, and making everything like so miserable for creators out here. It was already super hard because like you have no leeway into like the industries or anything, even if you want to be in them, because like you really have to know somebody, or you have to be able to pay your way into these situations. You basically have to do it like a payola scheme to be able to get in on it. So the idea is that if you like are looking for new media, and you support, and then you share, and you talk about, and you make TikTok videos about it, like how Book Talk and things like that work, that just helps the community of indie artists grow and get more well known. And when we get more well known, then we can live and survive and eat food like normal people do, and keep creating. That's the biggest thing to take away from it all. So when I sit here and I say, oh my god, you guys, I started a new painting, I'm so excited, it's so great, that's like, yeah, that's for me feeling like really good about it, but ultimately I'm going to turn that out, and you're going to get to enjoy it as well, presumably. So if you like rad shit, then you should follow me, and you should check out my stuff. And I'm talking about it quite a lot, but I haven't really said what it is. My books, I've got 2 books on the market right now. One is about Buster Keaton and the latter half of his life and the life with his family, and how he spent the about last third of his life. And it is a nonfiction novel, so it's like a biography, but it's written more like a novel. So you can kind of get into it in that way. Yeah, cover art, all me on that one. It's one of my paintings, probably my best painting. It looks like a photograph, but it's not. And I've actually had a lot of people say, like, is this AI? Like because I paint in a realistic way. Like it looks like paintings. No, never, ever. Fuck AI. I hate AI. Won't do it. So, it's not, that's just ripping off people's artistic integrity. Who even knows how much of my stuff has been ripped off at this point, because you got to put it out there. I use a lot of watermarks on my art. I don't love it, but it does keep people from seeing or stealing it as readily. It keeps people from feeding it into AI scrapers. So it's there's at least a little bit of something there that I can share, even if it's watermarked and it makes it look ugly. But we have to do what we have to do at this point, because I do need to not have my stuff stolen, and I don't want it stolen, and I don't want my style going into a machine that's going to use it for evil purposes. If anybody's going to use my work for evil, it should be me. So yeah, that's my first book. It's called Another New World. It's about Buster Keaton. My second book is called The Big Bad Wolf. and that is a mystery thriller horror situation, kind of blends it all in, and so you get all of those good things. And it is a story that's set in 1975 and 1985. It's, you got, your amateur sleuth vibes. You've got old fashioned ghost story is the way it's told. It's not like people keep thinking, like when I say that there's horror in it, that it's, I keep getting the horror crowd is really hard to please, because originally I thought that the book was a horror. I do this thing where I work on projects for like multiple decades, and that one came out the end of last year, which was its 20th year in production. Not like entirely like nonstop work, but like I started it in 2005 in the form of a screenplay, and I adapted it and adapted it and adapted it until I finally got it into final form, which was a book, and that is like a novel now that you can get. So the thing of that thing is like that took on so many different faces and so many different versions, so many different vibes, but it always was intended to be like an old fashioned ghost story. And the horror crowd, like, even though I've never said it was splatterpunk, I've never said it was like super gore mode or anything like that, like they are impossible to please, because some people will be like, this wasn't even remotely scary or gross or anything, and then other people will be like, this was awesome, I loved it. And I'm like, I try to like look at my feedback and be like, okay, good, maybe this will help me. And then like when I shape my stories that are coming for after this, no, no, completely impossible to gain anything, because everything that one person likes, somebody else hated, and then wants to give me like a 45-point dissertation on how I could rearrange my book to their liking. It's so frustrating. But again, being an indie, I absolutely thrive on, it's make or break when it comes to reviews. I need the Amazon reviews. So if you do end up getting a copy, it's on KU. So you can get, if you got Kindle Unlimited, you can get on there, and, you don't have to pay for it up front, but it's in all formats too. And I am particularly partial to the paperback. It looks rad. They both do. But if you do, leave a review. Like, that is so important for people to, to other people. And it also trips the algos, so that it starts putting those things, as the more it gets, it starts putting it in front of people. I've given out probably a couple thousand copies, with people who said that they would leave reviews, and I've gotten like a handful, so I don't mind giving out, copies. I'll do it all day. If you want one, I'll ask me for one and I'll give it to you. But I would really prefer that people abide by the social contract, and if you liked it, like, say something, about it. Like, it just, whatever is just fine. Like, anything that you say ultimately is like a good thing. I think I might have gone down here a little bit. Come on now. Okay. Yeah, I'm having some internet problems today. Can I be heard? Am I hearing? Are you there? Hello, anybody there? I can see myself, but I think it'll recover. I think we're gonna recover here. My last show, I think I'm back on now. It's a little bit hit and miss today. My last show, I was having some trouble too, and that's just the way it is. It's like, it's um American internet. We all deal with the same issues, right? Like, it doesn't have to be this way, but it is. So yeah, thanks for bearing with me. Some days it's like no problem at all, and then some days it's like, here we go. So yeah, that's basically what it is. So that story is a story that I wrote with the intention of it being a horror story, but then just really couldn't seem to please horror fans. And then it got me thinking, like, maybe this is more of like a thriller. There's definitely mystery elements, because there are clues, like, including in the cover art, there are clues all the way through it. So, you can, from like literally the first page, stuff starts to happen where you can start putting, making connections, and trying to figure out what's going on. So that's what goes on with that. And it's a story that did take 20 years to get into its final form, and I have another one that's even older than that I started work on, and then I was like, this isn't clicking. I'm not, something's wrong with it. And then I ended up in this whole vibe of it was like this lightning strike moment, like you see in like movies. Like, I was like, why isn't this working? And then I had this other idea that I just kind of cooked up by a joke, and I was blogging about it, and I forgot about it, and then somebody brought it back to my attention, and I was like, oh shit. And then suddenly it was just like I was just like fed like all this like lightning strike of like information of like connect the stories, make it all work together. So, but I had already started. I'm sorry, Charlie. So I had to work my way through that. So I just got the other idea, that was going to connect the older story to the newer story and make kind of a universe out of it. I started getting that into the notation phase, and it's all coming together. I have such a huge work in progress list that for paintings as well as books, but for books, it's like I'm gonna have stuff coming out like constantly forever because I've got so much going on. And that is like I'm gonna have constant materials and updates and different things happening. And I do mostly, if you're looking for like activity from me, like I'm mostly active on my Tumblr blogs, and I have one by name. I'm also Million Movie Project, kind of a big deal. I've been there a long time. So, but my what I'm doing one is my Nicolette Olivier blog. But as that goes, I'm just I'm just out here trying to make some stuff and have a good time and survive the horror. So you will also be able to like keep up with me on TikTok because like I said, I've revived it. So I'm keeping things um going a little bit more, and I'm still having tech problems, I think. But what is going on here is it's kind of like periodically freezing, periodically running. So it's like back and forth a little bit. So I'm probably going to hop off the stream here. And we're going to hope for better luck next week. But you will be able to get back here and get another live from me. And then I post the lives after I'm done with them. So we'll be able to kind of catch back up, and we can talk in the chat. And so like it's hit and miss. It is what it is. So like it doesn't really show me if I'm having a problem. Everything looks normal on my end. So if you can't hear, you can't see me, I don't necessarily know. So you can sound off in the chat if I go down or something like that, or you want me to repeat something. I'm also starting, my voice is hurting, my throat's hurting for talking for almost 2 hours nonstop. So maybe I'll get used to that, I don't know. But I'm about at the end of it at this point. So I've spent the last couple of episodes talking a lot about my art and my writing, and which I will continue to do. But I'll fold some other stuff in here, some deeper conversation stuff and whatever I'm watching and doing and things like that. So that's some stuff that you can anticipate from me. I might turn a card or two. We'll find out if that ends up being something. See what the vibe is on that. So as that goes, thanks so much for hanging out. What you could see and hear of me, I do appreciate it. You can reach me if you want to like send me a message or something like that. I will respond as best as I can. My other show is called Social Contract. It's on just before this. It's on at 1 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch that on YouTube and on Twitch live. And we also have we've been on we're in our third year. So we're and we go weekly, so you can get our entire archive on YouTube and Rumble. We're around. You can find us. We're kind of hard to find because we don't say the words that the media companies like. So they kind of bury us in searches and stuff like that. So, and then when I come here, I kind of just talk about like me centric stuff and things that are going on and what I'm up to. So please give me a follow. I would appreciate it because the more I can grow my following, I can ultimately become eligible to earn some money from my streams and from my content, which would definitely help me out in a lot of ways and keep me creating and keep me like alive and living and eating food and living above ground, and that would be great. Considering this is like the only real economy that there is anymore. So if you've liked this conversation, I have definitely liked sharing it with you, and hopefully we will see each other again around this time next week. I usually come on about 2:30. I was a little late this time. Sometimes we're not hard out on our previous show, so. It might be a little earlier, a little later, but usually around 2:30. So I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I had a fun time, except for all the tech problems and the false starts and stops. And I will see you, and take care of yourself, each other. Have a good time. Don't do fireworks. It's annoying. See you guys.